Hello, my name is Paula Forero. I am a digital strategist and legal advisory for the government, for the Congress, and I work on TikTok. And as a feminist, I am very worried about the lack of information or the misinformation on sexual education. However, I'm not only worried about the false news, I'm also worried about how we are communicating the subjects of sexual education in the media, in the social media. Here we're going to reply to the question on why some contents of sexual education are viral and others don't. Next one, please, because I have a bad news. I, as a TikToker and feminist, am worried because different organizations which I admire their work, the clinics, foundations, even though it is a deep work they do, they are not communicating things properly. I'm sorry, that's the bad news. The formula is not working in social media. When I have a bad news, I have a good news for you. You can inform with evidence and with discipline and become viral. It is not difficult. It can be done. According to the last surveys of La Familia, according perception of human rights in the young people, the youngsters consider is a lack of communication or understanding on sexual education. Most of education is very institutional and technical for them. This doesn't mean that they are disconnected from the reality. It only means that we do not know how to reach that public. I would like to do an exchange. This is my proposal. You and it's going to work like this. I'm going to give you something in exchange. I'm going to give you a tip, and you promise you are never going to do this in the social media, so that the information that we disclose really gets the population that we want. The first thing is that I want to let you know that social media are not your enemy. They are our friends. Next one, please. It's very important to not to make our audience like children. I know that we repeat a lot on social media. People only want to consume fast and trash content, but this is also a very valuable platform to learn. I want to let you know that the social media come for two things. One, to get entertained, and second, to get excited. People do not use those 10 minutes before going to bed to learn about how hormones work in female bodies. This doesn't mean that we cannot use this information to be together before going to sleep. And as the survey, the Pro Familia survey says, 54% of surveyed have not received information about abortion, but 22% are informed in the social media, and only 11% receive them through official institutions. And this is not necessarily wrong, but how do we make that these channels really arrive also to this population? The content should have these two main features: to entertain and to get excited. If you do not achieve that, you are not connected with your audience. The exchange I propose you as a task, you're going to download TikTok. I know you don't have it. That's the task that you have to do. And instead of being afraid of the social media, you're going to assure that this is a tool, not explosion. Second tip that I want to change here is that you need to speak to the audience. You need to speak like the audience speaks. So what does this imply? 40% of the young people say that there is lack of trustful information on sexual education. It doesn't mean that they don't need it. It means that the information is not arriving as it should. So here, my promise is, the promise that I give you is that they have to look, you have to look content which is really close to your audience. I have seen many organizations, they think they'll be like, hello, my video is this or that, and people gets lost. You promise me that your TikTok is not going to be the same, and you have to start with the hook. I know that you're going to really get your people hooked to your content. The third one is to convey the emotions that our people feel. So people go to social media to feel emotions, and our rigorous content with information, with data, is competing with dogs, with the video of the soldier that came back home after many years in the war, is competing with entertainment, with memes. That's what we have to understand, how we generate emotions in our audience. And that is also accompanying the way we see how our audience is getting connected. For example, a girl in Bichada who is looking for information about abortion, which is there is a barrier. She's not going to look how to access abortion in the Colombian health system. No, she's going to TikTok how to have a free abortion without my mother finding. How we translate those contents, which are heavy, to the things that our audience is looking for. This is only achieved through emotion. Let me give you an example. We had to create a campaign to make people aware about BPH, the virus, but this was not communicated to the audience. The only way I was able to communicate was saying that I was one of the persons that was forbidden by the parents to get vaccine because I was going to stay on a wheelchair or something like that. You may remember that time. And I'm not the only one, so that people felt angry about the Colombian system because that vaccine for my age could be very expensive. And also, the only way to connect with our audiences is through emotions, by communicating in the same way that they communicate, and setting aside any fear or emotion when we're going to download an application. So how that story time is going to be able to educate. This is my proposal here. My change in this occasion is that for every video that you stop saying hello to the camera, propose a story time. That's and a common agreement that social media is not our enemy. It's a tool that we have to communicate, and the young people are looking for this information, and they are finding that among many blogs of masculinity, and in many false pages. And the only way that we have is to talk like they talk and to feel like they feel, and empathizing with them. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. Please do not forget to follow me. You can find more information here.